Krishna, everyone. I extend a very hearty welcome to each and every one of you to the very first episode of our brand new podcast called The Debate Harmonizing Contradictions. So, our objective through this novel initiative is to pick up very hot and relevant topics that we are hoping that will be very useful to clarify certain subjects to both the devotee community and the non-devotee community alike. And the very first topic that we have chosen for the debate is a topic that is usually whispered in the corridors, sometimes argued in the drawing rooms, and also at times splashed on the news headlines. So you must be guessing, well, what is the topic? Well, my dear devotees and non devotee friends alike, so the very first debate theme, the topic that we have chosen is monks and money. Is it a spiritual necessity or is it a breeding ground for material corruption? And in order to engage in this lively debate, today's podcast, we have an august assembly of devotees with us. First up, we have His Holiness Bhakti Padma Saura Pracharak Swami Maharaj. He happens to be a sannyasi monk. Recently, earlier this year in February, he received his sannyasa diksha, and he is a global traveler. He is a voracious preacher. He is serving as a teacher in many reputed educational institutions, Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education, VIHE, IBMV, you name it, he's there, and his own initiative, Bhakti Vedanta College. And he has a deep passion for nurturing young minds, giving them a better alternative to the current modern education system. So he's also working on Gurukul initiatives. He happens to be the president of two wonderful temples, ISKCON Mira Road in Mumbai and ISKCON Vapi in Gujarat. He also happens to be the GBC supervisor for Uttar Pradesh East, and he is a lover of Gomata. He is doing his best to promote Gomata in a way that economically it makes sense. So I can go on and on about Maharaj. So it is a deep honor to have him with us on this panel. So Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada, welcome to the debate.
Hare Krishna.
So along with Maharaj, moving to our other panelists, we also have His Grace Madan Govind Das. So he actually is a project director of ISKCON Kavi in Udaipur, so the Center of Vedic Education and Yoga. So he is leading the development of a 3.5-acre Vedic education, spiritual and yoga retreat center. He is heading the outreach programs, festivals, seminars to engage students, professionals, and community leaders. He also happens to be an IIM alumnus with 15 plus years of leadership experience at Unilever across India, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia. So he conducts seminars and trainings on leadership, stress management, relationship skills, and life management. So we have Madan Govind Prabhu with us. Dandavat Pranams Prabhu, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to the debate as well.
Not everyone.
And we have yet another panelist. We have His Grace Shant Gopinath Prabhu with us. So he is currently serving in ISKCON Dwaraka, New Delhi. He joined as a full-time brahmachari in the year 2020. He happens to be a media advisor to many prominent ISKCON preachers, including His Grace Amoglila Prabhu. He is a Bhakti Shastri graduate. He is currently pursuing Bhakti Vaibhav. He is a true brahmachari in that he really relishes Swadhyaya. He is a core management leader in massive Mahaprasadam Seva. Recently in Mahakumbh Mela, distributed 60 lakh plates. And again in Jagannath Puri in 2025, he was a key core team member in distributing 30 lakh plates of prasadam. He holds an MBA, MCA, and a A-level certification from NIELIT, Government of India. So he is another exalted devotee that we have with us. Hare Krishna Prabhu, welcome to the debate. Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
So we have a lot of ground to cover and very little time, so let's go ahead and begin. So Maharaj, my first question to you, a very simple and basic question, Maharaj. So on the topic of monks and money, so monks means they are renunciants. They have already renounced their family, their careers, and their material wealth, whatever they possess. So in this context, that they are already renunciants, and their basic necessities of food, shelter, residence, all that is already provided for. What is the role of money in a monk's life?
The role of money in a monk's life is zero.
Mm-hmm.
But the role of Lakshmi in monk's life is the topmost. So when you perceive money as money, then you are Ravana.
Mm-hmm.
When you perceive money as Lakshmi, then you are actually a devote, then you are Hanuman. When Ravana saw Sita, he saw Sita, who is actually Lakshmi, as an object of enjoyment. But Hanuman saw Sita as an object of service to Lord Ram. So if you see money with broad perspective, that matters a lot. For a monk, money has nothing to do with him because he's not Ravana, he's a sadhu. He's Hanuman. So what did Hanuman do? He did all his best to make Sita come back to Ram. So a monk will do all his best to get the Lakshmi, which is in the hand of Ravanas, now to back to Ram. So they go to all the businessmen, not only businessmen, every door, knock the door, and then ask them to give money for Krishna. Ask them to give money for Ram. So this is the work of a monk. He has to beg. If he doesn't beg, he's not a monk. That is why a sannyasi is known as bhikshu. He is doing bhiksha, not for himself, for Krishna, for Lord Ram. Our tradition shows recent tradition that is of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a district judge. Though he was a judge, he was the highest cadre of the monk. The newspapers published, if you don't be surprised that if Kedarnath Datta, who is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his legal name, would knock your door and ask for 1 rupee to build the temple at Yogapeeth, the appearance place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is like a achintya bheda abheda tattva. As the podcast has been named as a Samanmayadikarana, harmonizing contradiction. Yes, the question is that do the monks have anything to do with money? No. At the same time, they have everything to do with money in the form of Lakshmi.
Wonderful. Very nice, Maharaj. So I'd open it up for our panelists also if you have any questions.
Kali resides in money. And one needs to have a very high level of maturity to deal with money, as you mentioned, with the right mindset. And that may not be the case with all the monks with different level of maturity. You think everyone should be exposed to this kind of process of fund collection, even if one is not at that maturity level?
Yeah, it's a very important question. That is why in our system, in our temples, wherever I oversee and where my advice is being taken seriously, I ensure that all the monks, in spite of whatever level of maturity it may be, they only involve in raising funds, not in managing funds. They only involve in raising funds, encouraging people to give funds, going door to door, encouraging to give money to the temple, but they will not touch it. Management should be in the hands of a team of 2-3 matured grahasthas who know how to manage funds and who are matured. So it's a team who actually manage funds. So the monks, they may be part of the team of management, but they are not the soul and soul to decide where the fund should be used. So this is what is my principle, and it has been a very great success in wherever I oversee, and I recommend to all the monks around the world that you get money, but don't use it according to your wish. Let it be in the hands of somebody else to do that.
Thank you, Maharaj. Another question. Prabhupada gave us 4 principles to live by. Books are the basis, purity is the force, preaching is the essence, and he said utility is the principle. So if purity is the force, shouldn't the purity attract money? Or should the monk run after? We see in the current context, there are full-time monks who do only fund collection. Do you think that also Prabhupada said, focus on preaching and the management will follow like a shadow? So in that context,
very interesting point. Very interesting point. This is a recent phenomena of seeing fundraising and preaching as 2 different things. But fundraising is for preaching and fundraising is also preaching. How I'll tell you. If you are having a project of building a temple, there are some people in the society, in the city, who will not be interested in your regular programs of coming to the Sunday feast, etc., etc. They'll be interested only in contributing to a big project because they are a very big, high-profile people. So now, if you want to involve them in Krishna's service, which is known as utility is the principle, you are supposed to do the preaching to them with the purity. And they will not give money if they don't see purity. Prabhupada also said, Nahi shuktasya singasya pravishyanti mukhe mriga. It is that you are pure and things will happen. If that was the case, then Prabhupada would have been in Vrindavan and be pure, and the whole world would have become Krishna conscious. Why he went to America? Why he was sitting in the office for whole day in Moraji, Srimati Morarji, Sinja steam shipping company? And why he was there? She could have was Prabhupada not pure? Yes, the purity is the basis. Our purity is a force. But the force has to be exerted and then distributed around the world. And for that, endeavors have to be done.
Thank you, Maharaj.
So, Maharaj, you quoted the example of Prabhupada, but Prabhupada himself said, everybody else went to America to take, but I went to give. So, and he went to New York, but in New York also, he didn't straight away end up in Upper East Side where all these high profile people are there. He went to the lowest of the low hippies. So, are we also following that without discrimination, or are we targeting more on the high profile for bigger donations?
He had no money to be in the high profile people. We want to do everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get the money, then you can go anywhere. So that was a place which you could afford. Let's be practical. Mm-hmm. It is not rich or poor. Krishna consciousness is meant for everyone. Generally, I have seen in our temple, we do preaching for all socio-economic backgrounds. And mostly the manpower for doing all the festivals we get from the lower economic people. Mm-hmm. And the funds required for the putting up a big festival for Krishna, that comes from the higher economic people. Mm-hmm. So according to their nature, according to their socio-economic status, they are engaged in Krishna service. That is the purpose. It is not rich or poor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it, Maharaj. Shan Gopinath Prabhu?
Maharaj, there are various, schemes that are coming now in modern times in our temples, other temples also I'm seeing. So one such scheme is like you take loan and then give donation. So can you, Maharaj, explain this scenario, how such new schemes are coming? Like they do some kind of special house programs, and some pilgrimage site visits also are there. Sudama Seva, just like Sudama gave some chivada and in return he got so much. So you also give this much and you'll get some more. So sometimes the motivation is also differently presented. So our movement is based to give bhakti, but sometimes the track is deviated due to such schemes. So Maharaj, can you please present some light?
You will give what you have. So those who are engaged in giving, they should be performing bhakti. And such a person, whatever he may do, that is valid because he is giving bhakti only. According to the time, place, and circumstances, the schemes will go on changing. In America, Srila Prabhupada had this scheme of book distribution. There, people would go out on the streets and distribute books. They were not selling books. But the culture there in America is they would not take anything free. If they would take a Bhagavad Gita, they would give sometimes $20, sometimes $100 also. But when it came to India, it doesn't work like that. In India, everybody wants free. So the situation is different here. So they based on the time, place, and circumstance, you devise ways and means to engage people in Krishna consciousness, engage people in contributing to the preaching movement. So when you say bhakti, what does it mean? Bhakti means seva. That means you're giving seva to people. So when they're contributing money for purpose of building a temple, of your preaching purposes, or for building or worship on the deity, so they are engaging their money in Krishna's service. That means you are engaging them in service. That is preaching. If you see fundraising as different from preaching, that is where we err. It is the integral part of preaching. And that is how we maintain the purity of consciousness even in fundraising. Fund is Lakshmi. If you forget that, then that becomes material. If you see money as Lakshmi, who is only to be engaged in Narayana service, Krishna service, Ram service, then that is transcendental. It is the way you look at things. It is not the external schemes and all. It may be a pure scheme. Oh, you contributed money for Archana. But if the consciousness of the pujari is material, how much I am going to get out of it, that becomes material. If there is a scheme of enticing people that if you give this much money, then you will be able to stay for a few days in this temple, it may be totally karmic and totally business mentality. But if the person who is doing that, he has a pure consciousness that I want to engage such people who have this materialistic vision in Krishna service, that's pure. So purity is not on the scheme, not on the activity. It is a consciousness behind it. If you have pure consciousness, the activity is pure. Externally pure, the activity may be pure, but if your consciousness is impure, that becomes impure. That's the thing.
Thank you, Maharaj.
So, Maharaj, taking that answer further, so very nice that you talked about the consciousness of the individual. So, now let's take a look at all the different ways, not maybe all, but some of them. So, okay, the fundraising is done with membership drives. Okay, you take a membership and you get this, and then maybe book distributions, and there are pilgrimages, and then food distribution, and even online campaigns. It's very likely that when our audience is going to watch this YouTube video, first some ad will come, especially maybe for ISKCON Dwaraka temple. Amog Leela Prabhu is telling, don't hit that skip button, do Sudama Seva and all that. So it's very likely. So even online campaigns are happening, and even brushing shoulders with high net worth individuals, maybe taking them on pilgrimages, having dinners with them. So, and to the extent that maybe even real estate, villas and apartments, high value properties are being sold in the name of raising funds. So, where do we draw this line? Is there a boundary when we say until this, it's okay to raise funds like this, but beyond a certain point, then maybe it becomes an impetus for corruption? Maybe it's more than spiritual necessity at that point.
See, corruption may be at any level by selling even a small sweet of prasadam and saying that it's prasad, which is made up of jersey milk and duplicate ghee, dalda, and then say it's prasadam. Corruption is there also. It may not be just in the villas. So corruption is in the consciousness. Again, back to the point. It is not the activity, it is not the schemes that we are supposed to discuss. We're supposed to discuss the consciousness, the person behind the scheme. What is the consciousness behind it? So that is why the sadhana is a very important thing. So in bhakti, what you're doing, that is not as importance as much as what is the consciousness behind it. Srila Prabhupada, how did he start this life membership program? In the West, his disciples used to go for Harinam Sankirtan, and then people would give money. And then by that money, they would just give $5, $10. And by that money, they would run the temples and they used it for propagating Krishna consciousness, printing books, Bhagavad Gita, distributing all these activity. Now, the same devotees, when they came to Calcutta, they were doing Harinam Sankirtan. And they were so happy. And don't tell Prabhupada, in India, we went for Harinam Sankirtan. We get so much of money, we got so much of change. Somebody threw 25 paisa, somebody threw one rupee. And then Srila Prabhupada became very angry and told, stop this. Because he knew that in India, if you're going like this for this kind of fundraising by doing Harinam Sankirtan, people would think that we are beggars, we are cheap. They would have this kind of mentality. So then Srila Prabhupada said, stop this and start the life membership program. And when they started it, very affluent people, they became life members, and the respect for the devotees increased. When the respect for the devotees increased, the respect for the devotion also increases. Once in Mumbai, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Giriraj Maharaj, was building a very palatial room Then few devotees went and complained to Srila Prabhupada that Giriraj Swami, he is actually making a nice, comfortable palatial room, spending all the money which we bring, and it is for his personal purpose. Then Srila Prabhupada called Giriraj Swami and told, I heard that you are building a very palatial room for yourself. Then Giriraj Swami told, no, Prabhupada, I am staying in the Brahmachari ashram. It is a sharing room. But this is for our life members. When you want to get affluent people to this temple, you require to give a particular comfort for them. Then Srila Prabhupada told Giriraj Swami that you are blessed by Rupa Goswami. Utility is the principle. You are blessed by Rupa Goswami. So Krishna consciousness is meant for everyone, and ISKCON is designed in such a way that it is preaching to everyone, and engaging everybody in Krishna's service, irrespective of what is their socio-economic position.
Times we see there's a lot of emphasis on building grand temples, big temples. And the process does not stop just building temples. It requires a lot of funds to even maintain these temples, which means a lot of dependence on donors, which means a lot of effort on fund collection. And we also see, a context from Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, wherein he actually cautioned with respect to grand temples when devotees got attached to the rooms, and he said, sell the marbles of the temple and invest in preaching, book distribution. So, do you think, is a grand temple a need of the time, or is it just a personal ambition of an individual monk or whoever is the authority there?
Very good question. So, if you see, there is emphasis on temple because you're in that position of building a temple. That is why we are emphasizing that you build a temple. And if you have a young brahmachari, new brahmachari joining ISKCON, and he is not so influential among the influential people, we emphasize him that you do a book distribution. For him, the emphasis on book distribution. So we don't emphasize on temple construction where people are not in a position to do that. When you have somebody who is capable of doing that, we emphasize on that when the people who are associated, because that is what they can do. If you ask somebody who is a very wealthy person that you come and cook in the kitchen, or you go on the streets and do Harinam, is it valid? No, we don't emphasize this on him. So we are so mature in our temple management that there is book distribution going on, there is Bhagavad Gita going on, the Gita courses going on, the children program going on, fundraising for temple going on. Everything is going on simultaneously. When you say temple, as soon as you go to most of the temples in ISKCON, you find all the programs going on simultaneously where the management is matured and pure. So again, come back to the same point. That is, what is the consciousness of the managers in the... Now, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, if he was against temple construction, why at all he built the temple in the first place? Where he told you sell the marble and then distribute books. This was told when the temple was misused. The problem was not with the temple. The problem was with the misuse of the temple by the temple managers. So again, it comes back to the point of the purity and maturity of the managers of the temple. So the problem is not in the detail, in the principle. If they have some problem in the principle, then gone. If the principle is to please Krishna, please Prabhupada, please Sampradaya, everything is perfect. If the principle is to please oneself, your book distribution also becomes imperfect. Your deity worship also becomes imperfect. So that is why the principles, the purity has to be maintained. Purity is a force. With purity, if somebody does fundraising, that's also fine. Purity, if somebody book distribution is fine. There are some people who distribute books, but purity is not there in consciousness. They try to purchase some books, sponsored, get sponsorship, and then they sell it, and then they think this is my money. So they have done book distribution. They get the first rank for being a book distributor, but their consciousness is not proper. Hmm? So there may be somebody who has cultivated a donor, he has respected them, did so many things, but with the pure intention so that this person's money will be used in Krishna's and building a temple. So that is what is to be understood.
So another my this response to your answer, Maharaj, is I completely agree. Finally, it comes back to the purity of the individual or the team who is managing this endeavor. Now, we have many places, temple construction going on, big fund management happening, but there is no structured process to monitor sadhana, which is an important prerequisite to manage money, to manage funds of this nature. So, if, for example, if you have a team who is managing a big fund but not strong in the sadhana, consequences could be horrible. So, what mechanism we should have that team is well mature, with strong sadhana before they're entrusted with this kind of responsibility?
Yes, that's the very valid point. That is the risk Srila Prabhupada took. Srila Prabhupada took that risk. And as the movement is growing and growing and growing, the risk factor is reducing, reducing, and reducing. You may say it is not perceived so. You may say like that because the growth has become so much that is why you're not able to perceive. But I'll tell you my perception. It is my 28th year as a full-time in the movement. When I joined the movement in this temple, there was nobody to teach me. There was no brahmachari class. The whole Bhagavatam class was also only one devotee used to give 2-3 classes. Just not like that. It was not very mature. Now we have a system. After 28 years, we have a system. There's a new Bhakta training, there's Bhakti Shastri, there's Bhakti Vaibhav, and there are so many institutes being opened for training devotees. If you see from the bird's eye view, from over a period of 20-25 years, there are systems which are developing and developing and developing. There may be some temples which the systems are highly developed. There may be some temples which are not so developed. It is like business. When you ask a businessman about, say, Reliance, you're a big company now, how did Dhirubhai Ambani start his business? You see, there were no systems. Whatever he thought, that was a system. But when the growth happened because of that one person's hard work, then the systems gradually developed. When I joined, my right pocket was the account department and the left pocket was all the maintenance department. Because there was no office there was nothing. Somebody wanted a few hundred rupees, I used to take money and then give, and then take the bill, put it in my pocket. You may say there was no system, but it evolved. Systems evolve. And evolution happens because of health, that is purity. So the whole purpose of every question which you're going to ask is to bring down to the point of understanding that what is essential is purity, and the purity comes by sadhana. Even the systems of sadhana are also developing, are also happening. It may not be perceived in different temples, but it has been perceived. When Srila Prabhupada gave sannyas, at that time, practically 90% of the sannyasis who were given sannyas with Prabhupada, they left. But now the systems are in line. The sannyas ministry is having a lot of systems. And because of that, the whole thing of people giving up sannyas has come down to only 5% in the last 20 years. In the very high level, mega level, macro level, anyway, at a very initial stage also, micro level also, we can find It is a process of development. It is not system is there or not there. It is a growth. Like
Thank
that.
you. Thank you so much. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Maharaj, there is one practicality regarding big temples because Madan Prabhuji asked that part also, which was the first portion of his question. So we know that the big temples, they are very voracious eaters of funds also. So if you construct very big temples, now there is too much electricity bill, water bill, this bill, that bill, and the whole system of fund collection goes into just maintaining that temple only. And expansion becomes very less, and even to maintain a satellite center from that big temple, it is also very difficult. So what should be the idea? For example, here in Delhi, the people are like rich, so no issues. Maharaj created very big temples. What if there is a state and there is a district, and in that district, how to make sure that the entire district is covered? So should we have multiple big temples or one big temple, small satellites or many satellites? What's your view in that, Maharaj? So that the idea of fund collection remains in the garb of this purity only, Maharaj.
See, that is up to the management. You cannot give suggestions, practical suggestions, if you are not having the ground level information. We can only suggest, but there are a lot of complexities involved. The complexities involved in Delhi are not there in Mumbai. The complexities involved in Mumbai are not in Chennai. The complexity involved in Madhya Pradesh is not there in Kerala. It is a different scenario. So Srila Prabhupada encouraged local leadership, especially the president and his team. They have to be sincere, at the same time very intelligent. Srila Prabhupada said that intelligence, sincerity and intelligence. The manager should be very intelligent in making sure once your temple is built, that it has to generate surplus funds so that the expansion can happen. So if somebody is not intelligent, he'll fall into the trap. So that is why there is a GBC college, there is Leads program. It was never there when I joined the movement. So there's a lot of training going on to managers. Now, when I passed out of the first batch of GBC college, that is the year when Mira Road Temple was open. So in that GBC college, there was a training of finance management. So I learned a lot. Based on that learning, the day temple got opened, the whole lot of meeting happened at how to sell off or give up all the autos we had and all the cars we have and buy new, because new temple, new vehicles. So then I told that now since your temple has come, you sell all the old vehicles, you don't require any vehicle. Why? Because thousands of people are coming and you preach to them here. And if you want vehicle, Ola at that time had become very famous. I made the entire presentation, PPT, to show that how Ola is more economical than having a vehicle and a driver. So for the next 8 years, only 2-3 years back we purchased, no vehicle was purchased. So this is how you use your intelligence. And this intelligence did not come just like that. It was because of the training which I received in the GBC college. So training, every company, every corporate company also has training at every level. So in the same way, we have to have training at every level. Training of how to be a guru. And I'm watching, after 28 years of service in the movement, there's no better spiritual movement than ISKCON when it comes to training. There may be some people who may not accept, they may not criticize. It is everywhere. But Srila Prabhupada has injected into the blood of ISKCON leadership, train, train, train. And it's happening. When I joined 28 years back, the congregation devotees were calling us to give lectures weekly in their house. They did not have Mridanga players. Now, because of the congregation development, you have every family itself They are managing at least 50 to 60 devotees. And their children are playing Mridanga. We just go once in 6 months to bless them. That's all. Is it not a great success? It's a great success. And it's a lot of training is happening. I remember when in 1998 for Janmashtami, I used to go shop to shop to collect 5 rupees, 11 rupees, 10 rupees for Janmashtami festival. And I with 3 new bhaktas. And we collected 80,000 rupees. It's whole chiller, big chiller. Now the congregation is trained up, they're taking responsibility. The whole fundraising happens to put up the festival within 1 hour. We give targets to this group 5 lakhs, this group 1 lakh. And it evolved, and they're so happy that they're involved. How? How did it happen? It happened by training, it happened by involvement. That's the whole point.
Thank you.
So, Maharaj, going back to one of your answers where you said ISKCON is such a voracious institution and it reaches out to people of all socio-economic status. So, when you reach out to all socio-economic status, there is somebody who is giving 100 rupees, somebody who is giving thousands of rupees, somebody who is giving lakhs and crores, so all kinds. But however, going back to Sudama's example that Shant Gopinath Prabhu said, he gave some chipped rice that to borrowed from somebody else's home, and Krishna was overwhelmed with joy. And how he reciprocated, we know. And even a biblical story where there were so many people, they came to Jesus and everybody was giving different amounts of donation. And there was this old widow. She came and shelled out 2 copper coins. Now, the 2 copper coins was nothing in comparison to what other donors were giving. But however, Jesus appreciated her because all she had was 2 copper coins and she gave it all, compared to somebody who had a lot and they gave a little bit of that. So, in this context, now, yes, we are getting all sizes of donations, but ISKCON treating them all equally. Just like an airline will call first business class you come, then first class you come, then economy class you come. So we see that there is a VIP treatment given to big donors. They get front row seats, they get really good guest rooms, they're taken on like exclusive pilgrimages and whatnot. So, why this discrimination based on the size of the donation? We should see the size of bhakti, not the size of donation, isn't it?
Yes. Very good question. I'll relate to one of my experiences. So when our Mira temple opening happened, we had one scheme of engaging people in participating in the Abhishek ceremony. So there was one donation scheme was there, and we had overwhelming response because many wanted to do the Abhishek of the Lord on the day of the temple opening. But there was one person who was not in that position to even give that money. But he gave and gave cash to me. Then I told him, I don't want to take the money from you because I know your financial position. But still, he was insisting. I told, first tell me, where did you get the money from? You don't have it. He had a very ailing mother and he had so many other response. He had loans also. Then he told, I took loan. I took loan. Then I told, I don't want this money. You want to do Abhishek, na? You want to do Abhishek, isn't it? So by my influence, I'll make sure you will do Abhishek. Then he told, I don't want to do Abhishek. My seva is in prasadam distribution. That is more important for me. That is more bhagya for me. But I just want that from my side, there should be contribution for Abhishek of the Lord. So now I told this Lakshmi, what you're giving is not 31,000. It is actually 31 crores. You're so happy at tears in his eyes. Again, when you see ISKCON is made up of individuals. You cannot generalize by seeing certain individuals. Like, for example, IIT. There are some people, some students who take up drugs and give up their IIT also. But still, every year, lakhs of people want to join IIT. Why? Because they don't see those failures. They see those who are passed out with shining colors, and they are all having big positions, got good jobs, and they see them as examples and then come to IIT. So it all depends on what you see also. There will be even the best of the companies, the best of the institutes, there are certain people who will be defaulters. But it's up to you whom you want to choose as your ideal examples. So now, just imagine a temple is, can you think, can you run the temple just by donors and money? It's impossible. It's impossible. So a temple is running because there are people who are motivated to serve, even though they have not given the money. For example, there are 5,000 people who have come for prasada. How many people are required to cook? At least 200. So a temple is making sure that these 200 people are motivated. They are serving means they are motivated. It is without motivation, nobody serves. What is a motivation? Appreciation. But they have been appreciated in a different form that is not been seen. Like, for example, yesterday I was giving a Sunday Love Feast program in Mira Road Temple. I'm giving, because that is a temple which I am from, I can give evidence, experience from this temple only. I distributed certificates, 250 certificates to you whom no temple would have, nobody would have imagined. This certificate for those people who are involved in exclusively in cooking seva, cutting, cleaning. How many? 250 in the past Rath till Radhashmi until the Brahmotsav. What all festivals happened, whoever were involved in the cooking seva, they were given certificate. You may not be able to see on the day of Radhashmi, on the day of Janmashtami, this is happening for them. Because many people come only on the day of Janmashtami and see life from a separate line, Kalash people separate line. That is what you see. But at the background, this is happening. Otherwise, no temple can run their temple. No temple managers can run their temple. The very fact the temples are running, it means there are people being encouraged and motivated. Otherwise, it is impossible. And these 250 people who are given certificates, there was somebody who was super rich, just sponsored the prasad also. There's somebody from the slum behind the temple. When the temple was a big slum. And they were practicing bhakti. They all came, took certificates. They were so happy to receive the certificate from me. And some of them told that that we receive the certificate only from Maharaj. Whenever Maharaj is, then only we'll receive the certificate. So I'm just giving the background that there, without manpower, you cannot run a movement like this just with money.
We also started similar practice last couple of years from the time we started this center. But every year we, on Janmashtami, we recognize devotees, irrespective of what seva they're doing, whether making garlands or cooking bhoga for the Lord, or doing nitya seva with 100 rupee or 5,000 rupee. Same gift we give to everybody who is engaged in some of the other service. By a senior, Vaishnav who arrives, who comes for our Janmashtami program. And this practice is very important, as you mentioned, to ensure that people don't see this kind of differentiation based on economical status. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Maharaj and Madan Govind Prabhu. It's nice to hear all this, but the fact of the matter is still we do see a lot of discrimination. So I hope that it definitely changes over a period of time. Yeah. Shant Gopinath Prabhu, you want to ask something?
Yeah, sure. So what is this comparison of this fund management of ancient temples and the one which is happening right now in various centers, including ISKCON and other institutions as well? So how they are managing, like in Tirupati, Melkotai, let's say Jagannath Puri, we know that government has a lot of say in very big temples, but there are certain big temples also where government doesn't have any role to play. So how they are managing and how our practices are working out, Maharaj, please.
Okay, it is a seminar in itself. It's a huge subject matter, and a lot of factors to it. We just cannot divide old temples and new temples like this. Originally, there's temples which were built were by the kings. Building the temple was the Mahayagya by the king. He would collect taxes from people, and he would not ask donations. That is a tax, which is money which is used to build a temple. And that is how all the citizens of the country are involved in building the temple because they're giving the tax. So even till today, the Pancharatra says, the money what you give to the temple is not a donation. The money what you give to the temple is actually a tax. You're giving water tax, but the water is not given by the government. The pipeline is given by the government, but water is given by Krishna. Rains are given by Krishna. So you have to pay tax to Krishna. So that is the first thing. And once the temple is built, and all the Brahmanas or those who are worshipping the deity and they were serving in different levels, the other parts also, there are some other community people also, they were all involved in serving the temple. They were all taken care by the king himself. So the temple was considered the actual palace, and the deity in the temple was considered by the kings to be the actual king. Even till today, in Padmanabha Swami temple, the king comes and then reads out all the financial details, everything. So that was actually the real capital and real king was. Over a period of time, when the attack of the Mughals happened, they plundered all the wealth. Practically, the wealth was plundered, temples were destroyed. And the harm to the temples and its socio-financial stability was not done by the Mughals as much as it was done by the British by incorporating a law called the Endowments Law. This Endowments Law makes that temples and its properties belong to the government. So this is where the destruction of temples started, in one sense that now you go to any temple, they are maintained. But there is only external maintenance. But the way it was supposed to be maintained, the way it's supposed to worship, it's all gone. Now, what is the solution? The solution is ISKCON only. There's no other solution. Because the British, they told monasteries will not be touched. Monastery means the Buddhist monasteries, in the Christians, the churches, in the mosques, they will not be touched. The law is only meant for temples. So it was a systematic attempt to destroy Hinduism and encourage conversion. So of protecting the Vedic Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism is on ISKCON now. So now, when you talk about Varnashrama, when you go to a new place, everything starts with Nagar Sankirtan and book distribution. And then when you get few people who want to assemble together, then it starts, they practice bhakti and they take initiation, they become devotees. That is, initiation movement starts. After Sankirtan movements, initiation movements start. And after initiation movement, the next part is the temple construction movement starts. And after that starts, the farm community and other Varnashrama movement starts. In this way, there will be a gradual evolution in every place. So some temples, they must be in auto mode. After building a temple, they will be auto mode. Everything is happening. People are coming and going. And there are some places where it's in the beginning stage. So Varnashrama will develop by Sankirtan movement. By Sankirtan, for a gradual period of time, Varnashrama develops. That is the Siddhanta given by our Acharyas. So that is exactly being followed by in ISKCON. You go to a new place. Why I should tell you about some other place? I take from my own experience. In 2007, we went with the book distribution party to Vapi. So it was a great struggle, even to place to stay also. It was some more, and your food also was not proper. We were cooking here and there, begging some rice and all. And we did Harinam Sankirtan, shop to shop distribution happened. And all of a sudden, one devotee who became a devotee in Nasik, he was there and he told, we want to have some program. He told, why don't you have a big program? So then we had a big program and weekly program started. And over a period of time, somebody gave a land and temple construction is not almost at the verge of getting completed now. So first the Sankirtan movement started. At that time, we did not go to build temple there. And gradually, what happened? Initiation movement started. 10 devotees took initiation in the next 3 or 4 years, then 2011 or 12. And then they were told, we want to have a temple. And one of them donated the land. So the temple construction movement started. Now, after this, then what happens? We are thinking of doing something else somewhere else also, trying a big land for a Goshala, farm community, Gurukul. So this is the evolution which is going to happen everywhere.
Wonderful, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, I want to switch gears and ask a question. Madan Govind Prabhu, I think you had a question too. Maybe you go first, then I'll go after that.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask this question, Maharaj. Lord Chaitanya in his Shashtakam prayers taught us what kind of mindset we should have, monks should have, in terms of nadhanam, najanam, na sundarim, karitava, jagadishakam. No attachment to money, no attachment to followers, no attachment to opulence. Still, in the current times, we see several monks who are like celebrities, and they charge, a very handsome amount of, money for programs. They have a very active media presence. They have a lot of, in fact, millions of followers. So, how do we reconcile this concept of renunciation with Lord Chaitanya's teaching, at the same time living a very opulent lifestyle, the way we see some of the monks living currently?
So coming back to your point, the verse you quoted, and you answered your own question in your question. So you used one word, attachment. I'm very happy to hear that. You found a problem in being attached to money. You did not find a problem in money. You found a problem in attachment to followers, but not a problem in having followers. So that is a very great advancement in the thought process. You spoke it spontaneously. That means it's there in your heart. You did not think and speak. So that shows that you are on the right track of thought process. Now, you spoke about certain people who are attached or having a very opulent lifestyle. Again, I'll go back to the same example. That is of IIT. When you find there are some people committing suicide in IIT, like in Kota, who prepare for IIT, and many students, in 1 year, I heard about 12 students committed suicide, which came in the news. Many committed suicide, but it was not in the news. But still, did people stop sending their children to Kota? Why? Because they saw that there are bright people also. There will be. You take any system, there will be 5 to 10% who are not up to the mark, or they have deviated. They are actually not proper examples. But now it's up to you whom you look up to. And those 5-10%, they don't represent the entire system, entire organization. Those people who are committed suicide, are they the representative of the entire quota system of education? No. The drug addicts in IIT, are they the representatives of IIT? No. I don't know, when it comes to spiritual organization, it has you just focus on, no, the whole ISKCON is like that because these are like this. They're handful, 1, 2, 3. And they are not gods of ISKCON. They are not the managers of ISKCON. If they are in the management, would you please tell me? I'll put up to people and then say, try to do something. We don't have to do something. If that person is a manager and if he's not following the principles, the system itself is designed in such a way by Krishna, they will be out. The ocean is like this. You put kachada in ocean, any part of the ocean, in the middle of the Atlantic. After a few days or few months, the ocean purifies itself. So the very system created by Krishna and Srila Prabhupada in the Guru Parampara is like that. It's like a centrifuge. It goes because it's a movement. It moves. And those who are not willing to mend their ways, they will be out. It is a natural process. We don't have to do anything. It happens. And I've seen it happening. Without telling examples, I've seen it happening.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes, Madhu, go ahead, please.
So, Maharaj, I had a couple of questions in how the donations are being used. So, we collect all these funds, donations. Number one, how transparent are religious organizations in showcasing to the public where is the money going? Let's say somebody gave 10,000 rupees for cow protection, Goshala. How can I be sure that my money went in that service only or was it used for something else? And number two, just in case, if the funds are being mismanaged, who bears the karma of that? Is that the individual who actually was responsible for mismanaging the fund? Or is it the institution which did not have the right kind of setup and allowed this fraudulent thing to happen? Or is it the individual, the donor, who actually gave the money and his or her money was misappropriated? So, who bears the karma? So, number one, transparency. And number two, who takes the karma if it is mismanaged?
Very interesting question. See, ISKCON is a registered society in the Maharashtra Trust Act. And we have the income tax being exemption, and also we have the income tax returns being filed. There is internal audit, external audit, everything is going on. So as far as every penny which is given to ISKCON, that has been audited, is perfectly utilized. No, it doesn't go to anybody's personal account. Number one. Number two, whether the purpose for which I gave the money is used for the purpose or not. That is a very important question. And the answer lies within yourself. That is, when you are giving money to a particular temple, go to the temple. Now, Pitru Paksh happened. I got a phone call saying that we want to do Anadan for Pitru Paksha. We received one letter. Then I told in the letter only all details are there. Then that lady told, "Hamare naam pe, on our name, my grandfather's name, are you going to do it or not? What is the guarantee?" I told, "We want donors like you. The guarantee is this: you go to the temple, take prasad along with all the devotees." Then she told, "ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्या? हम भी ले सकते हैं क्या?" They're not doing. I told, "We want you to come." And I told, "You don't send money. You come, you take prasad, and whatever you want to give, you give." So that lady came with family to prasadam. And then on the same day, with her friends, she got booked 3 more sponsors. So as managers of a spiritual organization, we try our best so that people not only just donate, but we want to give the experience of their donation to them. And that is the only way you can make the donor a permanent donor. And ultimately, he becomes or she becomes a devoted donor. So this is what we do. And those temples managers who are mature, they should learn, and little maturity will come by time. This is called cultivation. This is called cultivation. And now ISKCON means food distribution is happening. Goshala is there. It is evident. It is seen everywhere. It is not happening. But there are some temples, maybe, I don't know, they may not have a Goshala, still may collect on the name of Goshala. That from the bureau side, we have banned it. We have banned it. There's a circular to all the temples. There was found something like that, and it happened. Isn't it? So food distribution, there's no doubt about it. So many festivals, we're a small center. It's a outpost. How many people are fed? Isn't it? So naturally, people give for 3 things. If there's a temple construction going on, it's for 4 things. Number one, they give for food. Number two, give for Goshala. Now we have asked those temples which are not having Goshalas not to collect any money. If they do that, it's all around the internet. We have taken a strict action, and that's happening. And three is the deity for the Rajbhog, and there's Ringar, Aarti, and things that's deity worship is going on, it's happening. And the temple construction happening, then only you can, we are so strict. See, ISKCON administration has been criticized uh, for, for wrong reasons, actually. Uh, they try their best, or the administration tries their best, so that no malpractices will happen. I can say, even though I'm not a bureau member, I'm not a trustee of ISKCON, I can say it 100%. There may be one or two people who may not be very serious about it, but as a body, very serious. Nobody can collect any money on the name of purchasing land. I find many institutions, many trusts, they do land. There's no land. We want collecting money for the land. Why? Because you collect, say, 50 lakh rupees on the name of land. And now the land is costing 2 crores. You could not do that. And once the money is donated, you cannot give the money back to them. And now what they will do? They'll say, hey, we are giving money for the land. Where is the land? It's a bad name. So it is strictly banned. Hmm? There are so many positives to make sure that this movement, which is the purest movement in the entire existence to establish pure devotional service around the world, that that sanctity is maintained. And many devotees are striving hard to do their best, do their best. Of course, it's a material world. It's a struggle to maintain purity in the vicious atmosphere of total impurity and chaos. Why only target ISKCON? Because it is growing and people are envious. Small, somebody is doing small here and there. Who cares? Nobody cares. And one of the press reporters, he told me, Swamiji, be very careful. ISKCON is growing. It has become a big brand now. And he told, I'm a press reporter. And my friends are asking, just ISKCON के साथ जुड़े हो, you are connected to ISKCON. Give us some masala, kuch masala do humko. Every day they ask him, it seems. They want some masala so that he can. And so many good things happening. He press report himself told me that you do Swamiji 100 good things. We are not interested in that. He told. And just people, we are all like wolves waiting for something wrong to happen so that we can publish and get our name, so that we can get TRP or whatever the publication is there. These are happening. How many Bhagavatam sets are distributed? You tell me in the world which spiritual organization has distributed so many Bhagavatam sets? More than 5,000 sets have been distributed. Nobody. Nobody has done that. More than 5,000. Only South India targeted 5,000. Maybe 10,000 sets were distributed. I don't know the exact figure. Now, who did it? Do you think the newspaper Times of India will publish? It does not happen. Since the time Bhagavatam was spoken, 5,000, since 5,000 years back, this thing has not happened. It has happened now. This is a history. Nobody talks about it. But if you find somebody saying something which is not appropriate, and that they go on showing on the camera, and that person has nothing to do with this call. So it's the world you are living in. It's not easy to run a spiritual organization. There's a lot of sacrifice behind it, of thousands of sincere souls, right? At every level, right? At the New Bhakta level, till all the GBC level, there are sincere souls who are striving hard to maintain the purity and fight at the same time, internal fights, external fights. They are to jeopardize the movement. There is a struggle going on, and that has to be appreciated.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj, I have a question. History suggests that money has a potential to corrupt even the religious leader, and there are many examples in the history, and many so-called swamis are behind bars for mismanaging a fund. From our institute's point of view, what you think, what safeguards we should put in place to ensure that the monks do not fall prey to greed and get corrupted while in the process of managing funds.
I think we should end our podcast with this important question. I've already answered this thing. I'll reiterate the answer, same answer. That is, the monks, they should be focused on encouraging people to raise funds, raising funds. But when it comes to management of the funds, it should be done by a separate team. He may be part of the team, but until unless the voucher is signed by at least two people, the voucher should not be passed. As simple as that. And Srila Prabhupada made this thing. He made temple president, temple vice president, treasurer, and secretary. I recommend, and I practiced it also, the president should have no role in actually managing funds. He should be inspiration role to raise funds, raise enthusiasm among devotees. Once fund comes, okay, which cement bags to purchase, where to purchase this from, what is the costing, all should be done by a separate team. And Srila Prabhupada set up this thing. Even now, that same thing has been emphasized, re-emphasized, and re-emphasized, that now there will be no more temple manager. There will be a temple management board, which makes sure that things are, even in that situation, if somebody thinks it is my money and I will decide where to use it, whether it's a monk or a grahastha, whoever may be, he'll fall into a trap. The situation will come in such a way that he has to ban. And Prabhupada said, His Holiness Gopal Maharaj, you run the temple with a team, not as a dictator. Because the whole purpose of the temple is not running the temple. The whole purpose of the temple is to engage people, engage devotees. So if you don't engage, then the purpose of the temple itself is lost. So there are intelligent people who would be willing to take part in managing finances. They're experts. And then do that. Whenever the system is there of some very expert finance person, I have found the temple has saved 25% of the money. Whenever, though the power of the temple president overrule everything, they know we have to pay this month, that happened. I have seen we have paid more than what is supposed to be paid. This is my experience.
Thank you very much. Mataji.
Any closing comments, Sant Gopinath Prabhu and Madan Govind Prabhu, before we wrap it up?
As I said in Pariprashna, that 50th episode also, Maharaj says that he's been there in full time for like 28, 29 years. That's my age, total age in this body. So don't know. Even when I glorify Maharaj, I feel myself very, very small spark in front of a very effulgent fire. And Maharaj, since the very first answer, we have been enjoying it like anything. Because there is one thing called, you have told me a very long time, like 2, 3 years back, that you never answer the question, you try to cut the ignorance route. And that is what is actually the great glorification about you, Maharaj. And we are very, very, very happy to have this kind of setup. Thank you, Aradhana Mataji, for arranging it. And Madan Govind for wonderful questions. Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj.
So, dear audience, I would like for you to have 3 calls to action. So, number 1, this was our debate. I think the real debate should start now in the comment section. So, what do you think? Are there questions that you have that we did not ask? Put them there in the comment section. We don't mind answering them in our upcoming podcast. And also, what did you think? Did you agree with the viewpoints? Especially Maharaj was giving such, he was hitting sixers out of the boundary. But do you really agree? Do you disagree? We are open. You can disagree and state your viewpoints. So let the real debate begin in the comment section. And number 2, we have an exclusive WhatsApp group for this podcast. So I will leave the link for that in the description. So why don't you please become a part of that group so that way you don't miss a single episode of the debate podcast. Otherwise, we all get too busy and you may miss out once in a while here and there. So we will make sure all the episodes are posted there. And number three, please spread the word about the debate podcast. Many people have such questions, but they don't know where to go for the answers. So this is where they need to come for the answers. Who better than Maharaj to give us such enlightening, insightful answers? So please spread the word, share with everybody that you know that something like this is happening. So three calls to action: be active in the comment section. Number two, become a part of our exclusive WhatsApp group. And number three, please do us a favor by sharing this podcast. So I want to take a moment before we close it. Maharaj, you are just brilliant. You could take a topic like this and give answers based on scriptures. I am blown away. And your simplicity and the boldness with which you present, the clarity with which you understand, you're showing to us through your example that scriptures are not simply theory, it is the most practical thing ever. So thank you, Maharaj, for giving us such hope and reassurance that things are being put place. And you were very honest. At times you said it's an evolving process. So you did not sugarcoat anything. So really, really appreciate your transparency and honesty, Maharaj, the straightforwardness. And Madan Govind Prabhu and Shant Gopinath Prabhu, thank you so much for asking such thoughtful, meaningful questions. A great service. Thank you so much. So it's a very wonderful privilege here. We have a sannyasi, we have a grihastha, we have a brahmachari. We kind of have everybody covered here from different ashramas, different perspectives. So I'm totally looking forward to the next episode with yet another hot, sizzling topic on the debate. I hope all our audience are going to look forward to it. It's going to be a monthly podcast. So we will see you in the next episode. Until then, take care and continue the debate in the comment section. Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.